Can you give us a bit more context of where you went to university and why you experienced that culture shock?
Yeah, I went to university at Oxford. So yeah, the University of Oxford, St Catherine's College, between 2011 and 2014. I know, very specific, but it was an interesting time because at the point there was 32 black students in the entire year. Bear in mind, my classroom in some of my classes were about 30 of us all.
Mm,
So I've
that's
gone
wild.
from a campus of three, four, X amount thousands of people to, weeks of not necessarily seeing many people who look like me. I was
Mm,
really fortunate that in my college cats, there were four of us. So
mm,
actually, proportionally, we were really represented kind of, in line with
mm,
the intake of about 150.
mm,
But that meant that there were some colleges that didn't have any black people in them at all. So yeah, that was a really culture shock in the space of about 60 miles.
mm,
And I had a really great time in many ways, Oxford. I had a really challenging time as well. I learned from some amazing, incredibly smart people. I met some really interesting people doing amazing things today. But yeah, I also got stopped and had to prove why I was there. It wasn't
mm,
imposter syndrome. For many people, I wasn't imposter.
mm,
I
mm,
didn't have I knew I got the grades to be there, but people didn't necessarily believe that with me. So,
mm,
as a student, you're allowed to go into any of the university facilities because you're a student. You
mm,
pay for it. But I'd have white peers of mine who would be able to walk in and kind of just walk through and not have any challenge. And then
mm.
myself, I would get stopped and asked to, prove that I was a member of the university.
Really?
Yeah, and why? Well, why? I was an 18, 19, 20-year-old boy doing the same thing that the other people were doing.
Mm,
The big difference was I was black.
mm,
So yeah, I had that. I think the bigger divide actually, which says a lot considering there were only 32 of us, was actually class. So
mm,
if I relate 10 years later on the friends that I still have, I think the thing that unites almost all of them is that they have a working class background.
mm,
And I felt that class divide really, particularly when I was at Oxford, because there are people who had exposure to stuff that I'd never literally even dreamed of.
mm.
I mean, hearing that some people have a ski chalet in Chamonix. I didn't know where Chamonix was, and I was doing a geography degree. Like, the idea that they'd been doing some of these things for ages, or would spend a gap year
Mm.
flying around the world doing things when I was working in Halford in in Catford to pay for my week in Cavos to get my 18-year-old holiday.
Mm.
The life experiences were so different, and I felt that quite pertinently.
And I feel like it's quite interesting that you've noticed kind of like the racial and class difference, and also you knew the specific number of the amount of like black children,
Yeah,
black